Hello boys and girls, good afternoon and welcome to Critical English for Grade 8. Good afternoon Shamar, good afternoon Alia. How are we doing today? Okay, Alia? Okay, nobody want to be here? Alright, so remember, can you remember what we were doing for the past 2 weeks? Yeah? No? What did we do last week? We made something.
A paper bowl.
Yes. What kind of writing did we use?
Expository.
All right, good. So sometimes the issue is not children not knowing the answer. It's probably how we ask the question, yeah? Could be. And previously, what did we do?
Before that?
Yeah.
We learned about plot and types of things.
And all of that comes under narrative writing. So we've looked at narrative writing and we said that narrative writing tells a story, yes? And we've looked at how to go about writing a very good narrative writing. And then we looked at expository writing and we said that is the type of writing that is mostly used in our day-to-day activity, yes? And we saw that because it deals with real life issues, and it's the type of writing that gives us what? Begins with I. Instructions, not a word. That comes information. All right. So today we're looking at another type of writing, and this type of writing will also, remember initially I said to you that everything is connected, yes? Everything is connected. Everything that we are learning is connected. And if we are able to make that connection, what happens? Learning becomes fun and easy. Learning becomes fun and easy. So let's see if we can make the connection today, and so that it becomes easier for us to do our writing. So today we're looking at descriptive writing. Now, what do you think that could possibly mean?
I think descriptive writing is probably describing something.
Describing something or someone. Now, why would we need descriptive writing? Why would we need to describe someone or something?
So the person can better visualize or see.
Visualize. Love that word, visualize. What about you, Shamar? What do you think?
So it will be like forming a difference between, because you can have two same things looking like each other, you get confused, like say they both named Jack. You could say one Jack went to the hill and the other went down the hill, but you don't know which one is who.
Yeah, so descriptive writing helps us to be able to identify people based on their features, yes? All right, and I love that we're doing that. So we're looking at descriptive writing and we are reading. So descriptive writing, with the reading, we have 3 points there I want us to remember. The first point says, descriptive writing is writing in which the author's intent is to create a what? A vivid image of what he or she is describing in the minds of who? The reader. So as we read, based on what details are given to us, we're able to do what? To picture that person or that thing or that place. Yes? And where else do we see that? Which other writing? Narrative writing, correct. So when we are doing our characters, when we're describing our characters, this type of writing will come in. Yes? When we're describing our setting, descriptive writing comes into play because we are placing emphasis on a particular character or a particular setting, right? And so it helps to bring the story to life, all right? So remember what I said, everything is what? Connected. Everything is connected and related. It relies on the author's use of the sensory detail of what he or she is describing. So we need details. We need to know what it looks like. what it sounds like, what it smells like, right? These are sensory details, are details that appeal to our senses, all right? So we want to make sure that as writers, we utilize that, and this is often with the use of specific techniques. So like narrative writing and like expository writing, descriptive writing also has a specific technique or specific techniques that we can use to help us better prepare for this type of writing. All right, what technique do you think we might employ when we're writing descriptive writing? Since we're describing, and we're describing, what we're describing is a person, right? A person is what kind of part of speech?
Noun.
And what kind of part of speech do we use to describe a noun? Got you. Adjectives. Got your box in your brain. So remember, everything is connected, and if we're able to link them out, then our brain will process things faster, isn't that so? So we're describing a noun, and we make use of adjectives. So in descriptive writing, we will use a lot of adjectives. See how everything is connected? Good. And finally, descriptive writing use what? A vivid language to create the overall effect that the reader is present in the story. So when we are reading, it's as though we are right there. We can see the characters come alive, right? We can see the place the writer paints for us, okay? With the use of what? Descriptive words, all right? So to create what? It's all where? It's all up here, right? When we are reading, it's all here. So in our mind, and we all have imaginations, yes?
Yes.
Can you imagine a big rainbow? Can you see the rainbow? Close your eyes and see the rainbow. Yeah, we know what a rainbow looks like, yes? And if we put into words that the rainbow has what? Red, orange, a little bit to what? Yellow, green, blue and purple, right? So if we paint that into words and we say it stretches across the sky, immediately we know that we're talking about what? A rainbow, right? So, and we're able to visually picture that, yes? So when we do our descriptive writing, it must be done in such a way that when someone picks it up, they can see let's say we're describing a person, because that's our topic for today. We're describing people, right? We're coming back to what's on the slide. But today we're describing a person. When we are finished describing this person, someone must be able to pick up our description and do what? Any of you like drawing?
Yes.
You like drawing. Oh, so I found something like that you like doing. All right, so I'm going to bring something for you in that arena, that you must be able to draw that person, because what? Why? You're able to visualize it. And isn't that how art works?
Yeah.
Yes, that's how art works. Good. So why do we need descriptive writing? The purpose of descriptive writing is mainly to do what? Describe a person, an object, a place, or what? Anything that can be communicated through the 5 senses. So anything that we can draw in: sight, hearing, seeing, smelling, touching, tasting, and what? Feeling, right? Anything that we can appeal to any of the senses, we can describe it, right? Because when we finish our description, our readers are able to picture that in their head, or hear the sounds, or sort of taste. What about if I say, oh, and the chocolate was melting off the cake? Can we sort of taste the chocolate? Right? What about when you hear, so how many of you watch advertisement? You don't watch it? And in passing, you probably see them in passing.
Yeah.
What happens when you look up at the board and you see the big juicy burger on the signboard? What happens to you? Your body starts to react, isn't that so? You can taste but start, oh, I wish I could have a burger now, right? When we write to appeal to the senses, we are using what? Descriptive writing, right? So anything that can be written but using the communicated through the five senses, we are using descriptive writing. So today we're describing people, and when we were talking about narrative writing, we said that we do two things, isn't that so? We describe their physical appearance, isn't that so? And we spoke about their something else. Physical appearance, it was just in my thoughts. And their personality. Not personality. It's here. Personality traits. Yes? We spoke about those too when we were doing descriptive writing, yes? And we were very vague in doing it. But when we do descriptive writing, we are going into more details. So in your description, think about a different aspect of the person that we are hoping to describe. And when we're thinking about these aspects, we can include these. So we have physical appearance coming here again, right? But this time in physical appearance, we are paying specific emphasis on details, right? For instance, how the character looks, whether they are well built, whether they are muscular, their height, whether they're tall or medium or short, right? Whether they are lean, as in very, very slim but tall, right? Whether they are plump, and when we say plump, what do you think we mean? Short and plump, right? And so we look at how they look, and we spend a great deal of time talking about how they look, and then we can even zone into their facial the features, in the sense we can talk about their thick lip, whether their jaw is square. So how would you describe my facial structure? Interesting. They look at me as if. So do you think I have a square face?
No.
What shape do you think my face has? It's sort of elongated, yeah?
Yeah.
Sort of elongated. So this is what sort of makes one of my feature distinct. So we all have distinct features, yes? We all have distinct features. And so these are things that we can focus on. Whether we have square jaw. Shamar, do you think you have a square jaw? Pouting mouth, a pointed chin, whether they smile, they frown, they sulk, all of these can account to facial features when we are describing our character. Okay? And then we can even talk about their hands. Isn't that one of the features that we always see for people? I'm standing, and most of the time I'm using my hands to gesticulate. Isn't that so? And so based on that, you can describe me based on my hands. Isn't that so? Yeah. You can say whether they are rough. No, they're not necessarily rough. Do you have rough hands, Shamar? No, Shamar don't do any kind of hard work. Yeah? Alia, what about you? Soft palms. Or smooth, or whether they are wrinkled. And if we have somebody who has wrinkled palms, what does that tell us about that person? They are old or aged, right? We try not to say old. It might not be the kindest thing to see, right? But they're aged, right? What about scarred? If somebody has a scar on their hand, that could be a distinguishing mark for them, all right? So on the physical appearance, we have three things that we can look at. We can look at what? How the character looks, their facial features, and their hands, right? So how the character looks can take into account their body structure and all of that. And then you have a distinct facial feature, and then our hands, because this is something that is, our hands are more visible to people. Yes? We wouldn't see our toes, especially if we're wearing shoes, but our hands are very visual to people, or visible to people, right? And then we can talk about habits. These includes gestures, right? Miss likes to come here, and almost every time Miss claps. Yes? You notice that? So sometimes when I watch back the live, I'm like, why are you always clapping? Right? And that's my gesture. And these are also gestures. So if you were to describe me, you can talk about habits. So when I come here, I stand here and I'm always gesticulating, right? And movements, how I move. Am I always standing here still? No. So we can talk about people's habit based on their movement. Are you a busybody at school? Or are you the person? Shamar look like a busybody. Shamar, you're a busybody, always out of the classroom. By the time the teacher says go, gone. And Shamar? Yeah. And Alia looks like more the reserved person. She waits until everybody is gone from the classroom, yes?
Yes.
And then she comes out. So those are habits that we can track based on movement. Twitches sometimes people have because of health reason. They twitch. There's a specific, it's not necessarily habit. Well, it can come on the habit. It's in the case of the presentation, it's coming on the habit, right? But it is not something that they can control. But and habit has to do with things occurring over time, right? Something that we do often. And that could be something that a distinguishing marker that we describe them by, right? The twitching. Do you know anybody who twitches? Never come across someone like that? All right. Behavior, reaction to friends, family members. How do you react to your family, your friends? So tell me about your friends and your reaction to your friends.
Depends on, like, say, like during lunch we play cricket through, like, in the yard. Like, you know, when the ball, we argue over who's bowling and who's batting.
And we can tell from that behavior, what kind of person do you think Shamar is? Do you think he's the one who will stand up and say, all right, y'all take the ball, I am not bowling today? No. Alia would more do that, right? And so we can talk about Alia's behavior as a person who is more reserved, right? Probably to her family as well. I'm going to go out on a limb and see. So are you very reserved at home? No. Probably because you're very comfortable in that space. Yeah. Personality traits, qualities. These account for things like honesty, kindness, sincerity, polite, sociable, ill-mannered, snobbish, stingy, cruel. So you have one extreme. On one hand, you have these people who are genuinely nice people, right? And so they're very honest, and they're very kind, and they're very polite, and they're very sincere in everything that they do. And then on the other hand, you have the complete opposite. You have people who are snobbish, who are ill-mannered. They don't know how to talk to people. They're stingy, and they're cruel, and they're selfish. They only think about themselves, right? And these are traits that we can describe people based on. All right, so let's go to the exercise that I have for you. And we're going to look at some characters. All right. Are you able to see? Man. And I initially had planned to on you so we can edit. All right, so I'm going to read. It says, I didn't find out how much this meant until one morning of returning from the milk delivery. I saw Honest on the road. Honest was a short boy, short and stocky, and with no sign that he would ever be much taller than his 4'1". He had a heart-shaped face and a set of good white teeth in his mouth, which was a bit on the wide side whenever he grinned, and it was often that Honest grinned. He walked around with a ready smile for his friends, and he was so conscious of his muscles that he wore short sleeves rolled high on his upper arms, and the legs of his shorts were even turned up a few folds so that his thigh muscles could be displayed. Onis lived about 3 houses away from me. Is that a descriptive piece?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me why you think that's a descriptive piece.
Because it's describing Onis.
All right, so tell me what you learned about Onis from that.
He is short.
He is short, yes. Any particular height?
I think
4
it's a
feet 1.
4 foot 1, yes. Anything else?
He smiles a lot.
He smiles a lot. So what does that tell us about his personality?
Kind.
He is kind. What about people who smiles a lot and always jelly, like Miss? Yes. They're what? Are they sad?
No, they're happy.
They're happy. So he seems to be a very cheerful person. Yes. And what about his physical appearance? Is there any mention of his physical appearance?
He's strong.
He's strong. How do we know that he's strong?
Because they said he had muscles.
He had muscles, and how do we know he had muscles? He always. Have you ever noticed that people with good body structure, like once they're physically fit, how they always wear clothes to sort of show off that structure? So when you see the guys coming down the road, coming out from the gym, they always have their shirt full up, and you can see the big muscles, right? And usually for us who are not physically fit, we try to cover up, and want nobody see these flabs, right? So we cover them up. But Onis is very muscular, right? And the writer went into details. So do you think, Alia, with this description, that you can draw Onis if you were to look at it closely from an artistic point of view? Do you think that there's enough to help you at least have a sketch of what he looks like? Yeah? No? You'd probably have to look at it.
Yeah.
You probably have to look at it. So I'm going to give you the details, and I want you to see if you can sketch Onis for us. Right? Okay. All right, so let's look at the question. Is the description of Onis' physical appearance vivid and detailed? Do you get a clear picture of him? Yeah? We can see a short boy with a heart face shape, and he's smiling, right? It says he has what? A good set of teeth in his white teeth, and not just teeth, white teeth, right? And if we know we have white teeth, we usually smile all the time, right? And that's why it's important for us to brush our teeth when we get out. So now when we smile, right, our smile is bright. All right, next question. Would you recognize him in a crowd? He's muscular, and he's coming. He always has his shirt full up and his short pants, and it's full. Based on this description, if we put him in a crowd, would you be able to recognize him? No?
Because he's short.
All right, so let's say we put him between short people, Shamar. Would you be able to recognize him then?
Yes, miss.
Yes. So if we put him between tall people, you would not be able to recognize him?
No.
You would not be able to spot this one short person?
Well, if he's the only one. Yeah.
Well, if he's the only one, yes. Say what he looks like to your friend. So we've discussed what he looks like. What kind of person do you think he is? Is he pleasant, proud, or pompous? So which of the 3 words would you use to describe him? Pleasant, proud, or pompous?
Proud.
Proud? Yeah. Proud of his muscle. What do you think, Shamar?
Proud.
Proud? I would say pleasant. Because yes, he's showing off his muscle. But when we look at things like which was on a bit the wide side whenever he grinned, and it was often that he grinned. So people who are smiling, like Miss Tanya's always smiling, and so We usually say that they're pleasant people to be around, right? Those people who are always smiling. All right, so let's try to do one more. And then I'm going to give you the other one for homework. So it says, Melda was 8, a thick, undergrown girl with black skin and large, wonderful, wandering eyes, always open, as if suddenly started from a sleep on Christmas morning. Her hair was arrayed on her head in little plaits, the shining black-brown skull. Her nose was delicately molded and had a waxen appearance. Her mouth, large in her narrow face, with thin lips like lines drawn by a fine artist's paintbrush, tapered tremendously at the corner and showed susceptibly to ease laughter. She sat in her stiff blue organdy dress with a brocade pleated many times across the front, which gave her chest a fullness that her body did not possess. Can we picture her? Yes? So let's go to the question. So, do you think that the appearance, physical appearance are given?
Yeah.
Can we pick out anything from her physically? What can we pick out from her?
She have like a plait of the hair.
She has plaits down her hair, yes. Anything else?
She has thin lips.
She has thin lips, yes. Anything else?
She have dark skin.
She's dark, yeah. So we'd probably say that she's of African descent. Yes. Anything else? What about her nose? It says her nose was delicately molded. So we're thinking that she has what? Sort of a pointed nose. It's nice. It's when they say delicate, it's like God took his time to give her a nice nose. And some of us got some nose that just thrown on our face, right? Have you ever seen somebody that's really big? All right, so let me not go there because people might. All right, so usually, like I really like my nose. I think one of the best features of my body is my nose, right? Because it's sort of pointed. I don't have that, that thing might need. And sometimes, well, how the world is going, makeup can do anything for us as women, yeah? It can give us that pointed, precise nose. We can contour it and all kinds of things, yes? Did you get a clear picture of how she looked? Sort of. We can see her in her dress. Let's talk about the last piece. She sat in her stiff blue organdy dress lined with rayon, with a bodice pleated many times across the front, which gave her chest a fullness that her body did not possess. So what does this tell us about her? She sort of had bust, yeah? Got enough bubby, sort of, right? So we can sort of picture her. Can we picture her? Right? And so when we're doing descriptive writing, these are things that we got to pay close attention to. Details, right? Describing them physically. What else? As we wrap up. Describing, looking at the physical appearance. And on the physical appearance, we can talk about what? How the character look, their facial features. We can talk about their hands, right? Because these are things that we can see. We can easily see somebody's hand. Let's pay attention to Miss when she comes, when Miss Tanya comes up. So you can tell me next week. You can tell me on Friday. You can give me a description of Miss Tanya. Yes? Paying attention to her hands and so. And then we can look at habits. And you tell me about her habits, whether she makes gestures or she moves around or she just stands here. Does she just stand here? No. Does Teacher Tanya just stand here? No. So your homework is to pay close attention to Miss Tanya when she's presenting this afternoon, so that you can give a physical, you can write a descriptive piece on her. Yes, including her physical appearance, habits, behavior. What do you think about behavior in terms of reaction to you? Do you think that she's a nice teacher?
Yes.
Yes, we think that she's a nice teacher. And so here's the opportunity. I'll take this opportunity to talk to you quickly a bit about, there's a program from Ministry of Education where they are trying to honor teachers. So think about a teacher that you like, right? And then you can write about that teacher. It has to be, I think it's 100 words, 80 words, 120 words, right? So it's a good way to honor our teachers because these are the people who really, really, really help to get. I would not have been here had it not been for my teachers, right? So we can do something to honor them and their personality. And finally, we can describe people based on their personality traits, whether they are kind or whether they're, and we have nice people in the world. Isn't that so? We have some really, really nice people that we would encounter. And then, in the same breath, we got some people that we would prefer to stay very, very far from. Yes, Alia? Good. So today, we've looked at descriptive writing, and we said that descriptive writing is the type of writing that does what?
Describe.
It describes a person, place, object, or anything that can do what?
That has the 5 senses.
That appeals or that can be characterized as a result of our 5 senses. And when we're doing descriptive writing, what are we to do? To create what? Create images that are what? Dull? Vivid. So our readers must be able to picture, right? Picture those, whether it's a person, whether it's a place, an object, or anything that can use a sensory detail. All right? So thank you very much. I'm going to send a presentation in the group. And remember, your homework is to observe Miss Tanya this afternoon so that when you come on Friday, you're coming with a description, a descriptive piece on Miss Tanya. And then, of course, the members of the public, we will examine that to see if their descriptive writing or the descriptive piece on Miss Tanya is correct because she will be here presenting next. Thank you so much for joining us. Please stay tuned for math, and I will see you on Friday.
Good afternoon, students, and welcome to Critical Mathematics. How was your day?
Okay.
Okay.
Good? Just good and okay? Were you at school today?
Yes.
Yes.
Were you in a math class today? No. Okay. Could you recall the last session, what you did? Anything about what you did for the last session?
Types of angles.
Types of angles. Okay, so could I have one type?
Complementary.
Complementary. So if I have a complementary angle, and I can represent an angle by this symbol. I don't have to, this show the angle, but I can just use that. What about a complementary angle?
It adds up to 90 degrees.
It adds up to 90 degrees. So I can use a right angle.
No.
To make the complementary angle. Could I? Could I have a right angle with two other angles? To get a complementary angle? Could I?
Yes, miss.
Yes. So we're saying that this angle A plus angle B is equal to 90 degrees?
Yes, ma'am.
Agree? Good. Fair enough. So if I have several other angles inside, so I will remove B and I need to add another one. So I have B and C. What do I do? Would it still add up to 90?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it would. So do I change this, the sum?
Yes.
So what do I write?
Plus C now.
Plus C
Yeah.
Equal to
Plus C degrees.
equal to?
90 degrees.
Great. And that's a complementary. So wherever you see a complementary, it can be in a right angle triangle. Isn't this a right angle triangle?
Yes, yes.
And you're given the angles, you can still use the principle that you were given, right? It could have been in a circle or in a square. The fact is, it's identified. You can use the principle to find your answer for a complementary angle. Okay? What other angle we had?
Supplementary.
Supplementary angle. What about supplementary?
Supplementary angles are angles that adds up to 180.
Angles that are add up to 180. But as Miss in your English class would have said to you in terms of describing, how would you describe if I had to draw a shape or a diagram to represent the supplementary angle?
You can draw a straight line.
Draw a straight line.
What is it?
And
You
Yeah.
can you could put a line straight down going into it to show that it's an angle.
here,
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah.
So do we have any angles formed?
Yes.
We have angle A
Yeah.
and we have an angle B. Agree?
Yes, yes.
Good. But what is this equal to?
180.
So in a supplementary angle A plus angle B would be equal to
180
180 degree, because it's a straight angle. Agreed? Straight line. However, if I put a third angle and I call this C, what would happen?
You have to change to some.
I'll have to share it and add in the C.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yes.
But it will still be
Add it up.
equal to 180. So we have the supplementary and we have the complementary. What else do we have?
Acute angle.
But no,
Adjacent.
no, it had an next one, something like opposite, something like
We have vertically opposite.
yeah.
We have A and we have B. That means for the vertically opposite angles, angle A would be equal to angle B. Okay? And we have C and D. So angle C would be equal to angle D. Good? This is also known as corresponding angle. So it's either vertically opposite or we have corresponding angles. Is that correct from your English class? Huh?
If it's describing the angle.
No. Your English class. Spelling.
I think it has one R.
Pardon me?
R.
You think it has one R?
Yeah, I think it's all right.
Think it's spelled right and you think it has one R. Okay. Remember I said to you we can relate mathematics and English together. So I'll even give you that one as a homework to see if it's correct. Right? Corresponding angles are vertically opposite angles, so they are equal to each other. They are the same. So if I have a circle and I can identify the vertically opposite sides, they will be equal to each other. Okay? All right, so let me include another angle, alternate angle. Alternate angle. Alternate angle, you have parallel lines and then you have a transversal. This is called a transversal that cuts the two parallel lines. Okay? So alternate angles are the angles that are, let me get the other one. Are the angles on the opposite side of each transversal, on the opposite side of the transversal, forming with the parallel lines. So we have an alternate angle also on this one side here. So let me separate it by a different color. So we have A and we have A. We have B and we have B. Take this down for me because I want to erase it a bit and show you something that you will be able to identify the angle easier.
I.
Okay.
I.
All right. So for this one, let me do this. What do you recognize?
It's a Z.
It's a Z, right? So I would, for persons to understand it better, I would say a Z angle. So as long as you can identify a Z angle by these two lines being parallel and cuts by a transversal forming the Z, the alternate angles are, we have internal alternate angles and we have external. So the external one would be the one that I had on the other side. So let me draw it that way. So it would have looked like this. Here and here. So the alternate angle would have been on the outer part of the Z. B and B. So you still have two parallel lines and a transversal, but it's not in the Z. It's like if the Z is pushed, widen, and it's on the external. Copy.
I.
So alternate angles are equal. No calculation, you just need to identify the corresponding angle with it, and you will know that it's equal to each other because they're alternate angles. So let's put all of those angles together. In one diagram. Let's see if we could identify the different parts or the different unknown angles. Great. So we have one diagram. You're given A, B, C, D, E, F, and you're given one angle. So alphabetically, let's start with A. Could you identify the answer for A? Look at the different parts. Think about the different angles. Yes, Shamara?
E.
A equal to E. Fair enough. But remember, we want the value. A is equal to E.
Is it 90?
So I can also, I will also put A equal to E one time.
But I want E.
90, no.
Wouldn't it be 70?
I'm not sure. Do you think it would be 70 and why?
Because for one, I think it was not the corresponding angle A would equal the opposite side.
Yes, it's vertically opposite to each other. So A would be equal to 70, which, agree, A would be equal to E. So you actually found A and E, which is equal to 70 degrees. So I can also put 70 here. Makes your work a little easier. Okay, so now we have B. Tell me something about B.
B is equal to D and C.
B is equal to D and C. Agree? Agree? Why do you think so?
Because B and C are opposite to each other.
Exactly.
And D is it's really vertical.
And D is an alternate angle.
Yes, alternate.
Okay? So they're actually equal. But what value would they be? So now that you're looking at a shape with several parts, think about it. Start covering certain parts.
Wait. Wouldn't be 180?
Pardon me?
180?
Why?
Because I covered the two part lines going through and I realized it's a 180.
Exactly.
That's
If you cover the bottom, you would realize that you have a straight angle, and that is equal to
180.
180. But we don't want the entire 180. We only want what part? So what do I do?
You subtract
So we have 180
minus
minus 70, giving me a total of 10?
no 110.
110. Agree?
Yeah.
Good. So you would have proven that correct. We know this is a straight angle. We know one part of the angle to be 70. So the other part would be a proportion of the 180. So if we take the one that we know away from the entire angle, we will get 110. So we can also say that C would be 110. Where else? D would be 110. And we also found A, right? A was 70. So we have G and F. What could you say about G and F?
G is equal to...
Isn't G equal to 70?
I'm not sure. Could you please explain why you're saying that?
For the up.
Because they're opposite to each other.
They're vertically opposite. Agree. And also,
G is equal.
their corresponding angles here. You notice this is 110?
Yeah.
So this would be, these two would also be equal, right? And as you said, they are vertically opposite. So G is equal to 70, vertically opposite angles. What about F?
110.
Why?
Vertically opposite.
Because it's a vertically opposite angle.
Yeah.
So it's also 110. Right? So despite you had several angles to find, with one given angle, you can find all the other angles by one, isolating certain parts so you can just look at it in isolation to the angles that you know. So you know we have vertically opposite. If you isolate it, you don't see a vertically opposite. It's like, okay, that can't work. Let me look at a straight angle. Let me isolate to see if I get a straight angle. Okay, there is a straight angle. Maybe I can use that. And you try to see if you could use that. And you will be able to identify all the parts of the angle just using one set of information. Take this down quickly.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Great. So let's look at one more. Do we think we understood this clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right. And it wasn't as hard as you would want to assume from the look of it when you started. So we have 65, we have A, we have B, we have C, we have D, we have E, we have F, we have G, we have H. We have, let's see, I, J, K, L. Yes. Let's look at it like that. So what would we start with?
A.
You can start with A. Fair enough. If you were to start with A, what would be your answer? Or what would you use to get your answer?
A is part of an angle.
Mm-hmm.
And the angle opposite to it is equal to 90 degrees. So A is equal to, is it gonna be 65? No.
You wanna try?
A equal to B.
A would be equal to B. Okay, no problem.
But I have to find for B now.
Yes.
That would be a 180 degree.
Where?
The 65, C and B.
Okay, yes. Okay, let me help you. Let's look at here. Isolate. Here, what you seeing?
Right angle.
A right angle triangle, because over here it was given a right angle triangle. So if here is a right angle triangle, what is it equal to?
90 degrees.
So how can I find A?
you subtract 65 from 90.
Subtract 65 from 90, giving me
25 degrees.
25. Agree?
Yes.
25?
Yeah.
5 and 5, 10. 2 and 6, 8. And 1, 9. Good. So we know A and B is equal to 25. So we have 25. We have 25. Good. What else could we find? What next?
D will equal to 65.
D would be equal to?
65.
Why?
Because it's vertically up.
Because it's vertically opposite. D is equal to 65. Great.
C would equal to 90.
Why?
Because it's vertically opposite from the 90.
C is equal to 90 because it's vertically opposite from the 90.
And would I be equal to 92?
I would be equal to
90.
90 because
C and I are
corresponding. Uh-huh.
Wait,
So we have I,
L
L.
equals to 92.
L would be 90 because
Vertically up
vertically opposite.
to I.
Yes.
And K would
K,
equal to 90 degrees too,
why?
because it's
Isolated.
yes, isolated to L. No, it's L,
What?
K, and L are the opposite.
Good. But we don't.
180 degrees.
Oh, yeah, we got L already, right? Pardon me?
That's a 180 degree.
Exactly, we're on a straight angle. So we have a 180, right? So L also is 90. Therefore, over here would be 90. Therefore, J would be
90.
90.
Okay.
We still have E, F, G, and H.
G and A.
What about E?
What was we can use and how can we combine? Oh no.
What do you want?
Easy. Isolate parts. Forget about all the other parts. What can you use? Look at where E is.
A 180 degree.
E? Can E be so small, so large as a 180?
No.
Uh-huh.
Is it 90?
Wait, you found the C already?
Yes, we found for C.
It is a part of a. Yes, I think it's a part of 180 because.
It is a part of 180, but we know. Do we know the other part?
Yes, we are defining for C.
Go, but look where C is. C is on this part.
I don't know. Let's see.
Could I do something, please?
Yes, please.
So I'm going to isolate it by removing, right? We found all of these. What you saying? What are we saying?
It looks like a Z.
We've seen a Z.
Yeah.
So we have alternate angles,
Yeah.
internal angles. So what is D equal to?
65.
So E would be equal to
65.
65. And F?
That's one.
Yes.
You have to subtract 65
Uh-huh.
or 180.
Good, because it is?
What is it called again? Oh, it's a part of
Of a
straight angle.
straight angle. So total would be?
It's 65?
120.
120.
20.
Are we sure? 120 plus 65 will give us 80.
No.
Would give us 180, sorry.
No, it wouldn't.
So what would we have here?
Wait, just a percentage.
No.
Oh, 115.
115, because 65 plus 15 would give us the 80. Right? So we have G would be equal to
65.
65 because
Opposite.
it's vertically opposite, and we have H that would be equal to
115.
115. Great. So how can we get back our diagram now? Let me see. So we had here,
No, what is this again?
we had a 90.
No.
Agree? We had a 90.
Yes.
We had 65.
A was at the top here.
A. Well, this would have to be C.
Yeah.
This came through. This came across. So we had C over there. We had B here.
Did we have B?
Good. Then we had I, J, K, L. Yes. So take that quickly. So with one set of information, we found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different answers. With all the different angles that we had, they're complementary, the 90-degree. We had the supplementary straight angle. We have the alternate angle that's created in the Z internally and externally. And we also have the vertically opposite and corresponding angles from one diagram with one given information. So just to recap, as I would have said, when you're given a diagram with so many parts, you isolate it. You look at it in parts. If you draw in it, you cover certain parts in your book, so you can just look at the part that has the information and see how you can relate it to something else to start. Don't try to look at the entire thing and be carried away because it looks a bit confusing and you're not sure what to do and you get frustrated, right? Just look at it in parts. Think about what you learned. You know complementary. Complementary adds up to 90-degree. So do we have a 90-degree angle section there? Yes, we have a 90-degree section here because if over here is 90, this is a straight line. That means over here is 90. That's a complementary. So if I minus that from 90, I can get A. So now that I got A, if I notice, I will have some vertically opposite angle, right? When it's properly drawn, because my lines are twisted, don't worry that. And you start identifying if that is vertically opposite, okay, I have that. If I notice I have a straight line here, I can also find D. I have a Z here, and if I have a Z, that means these two parts are equal, right? So you isolate it from the different ones that you would have learned. So every step, every angle can contribute or relate to another angle and help you determine the answer for an entire sum, right? So don't forget, look over your work, try to understand, create your own diagram, put in your own answers, your own unknown values, calculate it to see if you can find it, right? And it will help you in the long run to understand and remember what you would have done. Okay, we good? We good with the angles?
Yes, sir.
Name one type of line.
What type of what?
Line.
Straight line.
Straight line. Another type.
Horizontal.
Horizontal.
Oh,
Vertical.
Vertical. Okay, we had parallel. Right, I'm just trying to go some of the things that you did with your angles when we started geometry. Right, so don't forget those things. You do have a blessed afternoon. We pray to see you on Friday for the next session. Come prepare, come with your ruler, your pencil, come with your thoughts, your mind, so that you can focus and be a part of the classes. Do enjoy. Have a blessed afternoon.